Today is the year 1986. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of NBA 2K History Resimulation. But with the twist, we've got random draft classes. Last episode, we had, the 2008 draft, the 2006 draft, and then for this episode to start off, we will have the 2003 NBA draft. The LA Lakers, though, winning back-to-back NBA titles. Magic Johnson winning back-to-back Finals MVPs. I believe that would be 4 Finals MVPs as they beat the New Jersey Nets. Some retirements here. Bob Lanier, Fred Brown, George Johnson retire. No Hall of Famers, but Bob Lanier gets his jersey retired from Detroit. And as far as historic changes, not much, but uniform changes for the Warriors and Bucks, and also a floor change for the Bucks. No rule changes, and let's head into the draft lottery, which this is a big one. We've got the 2003 NBA draft. So the Knicks, the Kings, the Rockets, the Sonics, the Hawks, the Pacers, and the Spurs all have a chance at LeBron James. So let's see who ends up with the number 1 pick. It will be the Sacramento Kings, who, by the way, have... who is it? Do the Kings have Derrick Rose? Or is it... No, I think the Bullets had Derrick Rose, right? The Kings, I believe, have Michael Beasley and somebody else. I can't remember right now. The Spurs with the 2nd overall pick. The Atlanta Hawks with the 3rd. Pacers at 4. Knicks at 5. So Knicks went from 1 to 5. The Rockets at 6. Sonics at 7. Bulls at 8. Suns at 9. And the New Jersey Nets at 10. So let's see who ends up being picked number 1 overall. I do want to real quick, though, look at the Kings roster. They have Michael Beasley, and they drafted LaMarcus Aldridge. That's right. They also have Mike Woodson, LaSalle Thompson, and Larry Drew. 3 guys entering their prime. So LeBron entering a decent team, right? I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge, his rookie year averaged 13 and 4, right? So if he ends up being the player that he could become, he could be a very good player. Michael Beasley averaging 16 and 5, good role player, right? Good piece to put next to LeBron. So you never know. What could be interesting, though, is Michael Beasley is listed as a small forward. So will they, but they also have Woodson at shooting guard and Aldridge at power forward. I was going to say maybe they take Dwayne Wade instead of LeBron. We've seen it before, but more than likely they'll take LeBron. Let's see what happens with the number 1 overall pick here in the 1986 NBA draft. The Sacramento Kings will select. They did it. Dwayne Wade is headed to Sacramento. Wow. Okay. I had a feeling, man, because they had just drafted Michael Beasley. For whatever reason, 2K does that. So what that means, with the 2nd overall pick, the San Antonio Spurs will select LeBron James. Wow. Okay. That's a big twist. With the 3rd overall pick, the Atlanta Hawks, they select Carmelo Anthony. And at 4, the Indiana Pacers will select Chris Bosh. At 5, the New York Knicks select Boris Diaw. I have no clue who that is. Is that just a random generated player? What in the hell? Chris Kaman drafted 7th overall to the Seattle Supersonics. Michael Petrus drafted to the Chicago Bulls. The Phoenix Suns will take Michael Sweetney. And at 10, the New Jersey Nets will take TJ Ford. And here's the rest of the draft here. Nick Collison to the Bullets. David West to the Bucks. The Nuggets select Kirk Heinrich. Barbosa heads to Philly. And the Lakers, as the defending champs, select James Jones. Free agency here in 1986. We're only 6 days in, so Griffith hasn't been picked up. John Drew has not been picked up. Bill Walton has not been picked up. So a few guys still waiting. But Magic Johnson returns to the LA Lakers. Adrian Dantley will head to Washington to play with the Bullets. Terry Cummings leaves the Clippers and heads to Utah. Clyde returns to Portland. Jeff Ruland We'll head to Utah. The Nuggets signed Buck Williams from New Jersey. Dennis Johnson will head back to Boston. Orlando Blackman will return to Dallas. Clark Kellogg returns to Indiana. So not a whole lot of moves here. Norm Nixon heads to Milwaukee. Dan Issel actually leaves Denver. He goes to Phoenix. So, okay, a decent amount of moves here. But the big ones, the big one really was Magic, right? He stays. Adrian Dantley heads to Washington. That could be interesting. And then Clyde stays. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel here. We'll throw it here in the bottom right corner. Hopefully you guys can see it. Don't want, anything like last episode to happen. So let's go ahead and see who will take place the 1987 NBA draft. It will be the 1990 NBA draft. Wow, okay. 1990. I have no idea who's in the 1990 draft right now. Let's see who's in the 1990 draft. Derek Coleman, Lionel Simmons, Tyrone Hill. Gary Payton. That's a big one. Abdul Rauf. Okay. Tony Kukoc. Interesting. I don't know. Not the best draft. Not the best draft. But that's okay, right? We don't need back-to-back crazy drafts. Let's take a look at the rosters, though. So that way, we're all on the same page of we know who is where. Magic Johnson, obviously. James Worthy, Kareem, and Wilkes still lead the LA Lakers. Kareem is down to an 85 overall. Remember, they drafted Roy Hibbert. He's up to an 80 overall. So there could be a point where Kareem starts coming off the bench and Roy Hibbert starts playing. For Dallas, they've got Mark Aguirre, Orlando Blackman, Derek Harper, Darryl Griffith, Birdsong, and Dawkins in New Jersey. They have TJ Ford and JaVale McGee as well on that team. The Denver Nuggets with Alex English, Kiki Vandeweghe, Buck Williams, who they just signed. They're young guys, Kirk Heinrich, Kyle Lowry, J.J. Hickson. For Indiana, they've got Clark Kellogg. They did draft Chris Bosh with the 4th overall pick. They have J.J. Redick as well as one of their young guys. Detroit with Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, Chapuka, John Long, Vinny Johnson, Serge Ibaka, and let's see, who's some of their young guys as well. Not really. They just have Serge Ibaka basically. And then, or was that? They have Cliff Levinson. Okay. For Houston, Ralph Sampson, Russell Westbrook, Craig Elo. And then for the San Antonio Spurs, you got George Gervin there. He's 34 though. He's getting older. Johnny Moore. They have Gallo, I guess, as one of their young pieces. John Paxson. I don't know. I mean, it's not an amazing team, but they'll probably end up being a playoff team with LeBron James as an 84 overall already. So we'll see what happens there. The Phoenix Suns with Dan Issel, Walter Davis. Some of their young guys would be Josh Howard. And that's really about it for them. Seattle with Sigma, Gus Williams, Tom Chambers, David Thompson. Young guys would be Chris Kaman, Ronnie Brewer. For the Portland Trailblazers, obviously they got Clyde, Fat Lever, Nat, Carr, Michael Thompson, Clay's dad, right? I believe. But for their young guys, they've got Robin Lopez, that's Ron Brewer. Never mind. And then for the Golden State Warriors, Purvis Short, Sleepy Floyd, Joe Barry Carroll, Larry Nance Sr. Do they have any young guys? Ronaldo Blackman. That's about it there for Golden State. For Philly, they've got Moses Malone, Maurice Cheeks, Julius Erving, DeAndre Jordan as an 81 overall for them. The Milwaukee Bucks with Sidney Moncrief, Marcus Johnson, Norm Nixon. They've got DJ Augustine and David West. Adrian Dantley in Washington with Derrick Rose, who's up to an 89 overall. Jeff Malone, Cephalosha is on that team. Batum is on that team. Nick Collison. They've got a lot of young guys on that team. Chicago with OJ Mayo as their best player. Andre Bargnani as well there. Reggie Theus. Michael Petrus. This is an interesting team with OJ. We'll see if OJ Mayo ends up developing how we kind of all thought he would. Cleveland with Cliff Robinson, Eddie Johnson, World Be Free. They've got Anthony Morrow there. And, I mean, they don't really have a whole lot of young guys either. Boston with Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Dennis Johnson, Maxwell, Danny Ainge. Do they have any young? I doubt it. Yeah, they don't really have anyone. And then the LA Clippers with Kevin Love, who's an 85 overall, Ricky Green, Bill Walton, Eric Gordon, a 21-year-old Eric Gordon, Luke Ridnour as well. Atlanta with Dominique in his prime, and Carmelo Anthony. Wow, okay, that's cool. Hey, they have Brandon Roy. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is fun. Scott Hastings. All right. This is an interesting team. Brandon Roy and Melo developing with Dominique in his prime. Could be really good. Utah with Terry Cummings, Jim Paxson, Jeff Ruland, JJ Barea, Paul Millsap. The Sacramento Kings with Larry Drew, LaSalle Thompson, LaMarcus Aldridge, Dwayne Wade, Michael Beasley, Bob McAdoo. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I guess it really depends on how LaMarcus develops alongside Dwayne Wade. That's probably the big one there. New York with Bernard King, Cartwright, Rajon Rondo, Boris Diaz on that team, and then we're back to LA. So those are all the teams, all the rosters. Let's get on to see what happens here in the 1986-87 NBA season. Magic Johnson wins another MVP, 24 points per game, 9 rebounds, 11 assists, shot 57% from the field. LeBron James wins Rookie of the Year, averaging 24.5 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.7 steals, and 2.2 blocks per game. Byron Scott wins Sixth Man of the Year. LeBron's a DPOY. 2 blocks and nearly 2 steals per game. Wow, okay, a huge year for LeBron. Kevin Love is the most improved player. 18 points and 13 rebounds per game. Brad Nelson, the Coach of the Year with the LA Lakers. All NBA first team got Magic, Derrick Rose, first time on the first team. 31 a game, 8 assists. All right, yeah, Derrick Rose is very good. Larry Bird and LeBron James on the first team as well. Andre Bargnani on the first team, averaging 22 and 9 a game. Okay. Second team, Isaiah Thomas. Dwayne Wade as a rookie, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 7. I mean, this class is dominating. This 2003 class might be insane. Melo, 24 a game, 6 rebounds and 4 assists. James Worthy and Ralph Sampson. Clyde, Russ averaging 19, 4, and 7. Dominique, Cliff Robinson, and Moses Malone round out the third team. All defensive first team got Wade, Sidney Moncrief, LeBron, Cliff Robinson, and Ralph Sampson. All defensive second team, we got Clyde, Magic, Chris Bosh. How's Bosh doing? 16 and 9 per game. Larry Nance and Andre Bargnani. Here's the all-rookie first team. Michael Sweetney, averaging 9 and 6. Chris Kaman in Seattle, averaging 10, 6, and 3. David West, averaging 8 and 5. TJ Ford, averaging 9. Kirk Heinrich, averaging 7 a game. And Josh Howard, averaging 8 and 4 per game. So let's look at the NBA standings here. The Lakers winning the most games with 67. Dallas at 2 with 56. Utah at 3. Portland at 4. Golden State at 5. Denver at 6. The Spurs did sneak into the playoffs, winning just 37 games. And then for the East, Detroit, the number 1 seed. Philly at 2. Atlanta at 3. With a rookie Carmelo Anthony there. Washington at 4 with Derrick Rose, obviously. And then where did Dwayne Wade go again? I can't remember. Or wait, is Dwayne Wade in Washington? No, he's in Kansas, with the Kings, right? The Kings did not make the playoffs. Where are the Kings? Oh wait, I was looking at the East. There you go. The Kings had the worst record in the league, actually. So not great there for Dwayne Wade and LaMarcus Aldridge. But anyways, on to the league leaders, where Derrick Rose led the league in scoring with 31 points per game. Cliff Robinson led the league in rebounds per game. Magic led the league in assists per game. Isaiah led the league in steals per game with Dwayne Wade right behind him. And blocks per game was led by Bargnani. So On to round one of the playoffs. The Denver Nuggets, the Golden State Warriors, the Indiana Pacers, Supersonics, Bullets, Sixers, LeBron and the Spurs, Milwaukee. They are all eliminated. So we've got LA versus Portland with obviously Magic, Cooper and the guys. And then Portland with Fat Lever, Clyde, Michael Thompson. And then Dallas with Derek Harper, Brook Lopez. How's Brook Lopez doing? 14-5 in the playoffs. And then the Utah Jazz, a 3 seed in the West. And then in the East, we got Detroit as a 1 seed with Isaiah, Serge Ibaka, Bill Laimbeer versus Boston, who was a 5 seed this year. Larry Bird at a 96 overall. And then Atlanta. This team, man, this team is my favorite in the East right now. I mean, Brandon Roy, who averaged 14 a game, 7 assists, 5 rebounds in the regular season, is up to 17, 5, and 6 in the playoffs. Dominique averaging 27 and 7. Melo averaging 24 and 6. This team is a lot of fun. I don't know if they'll win this year, but this is a really good team. And then Chicago has a 7 seed with OJ Mayo, Petrus, and Bargnani upset the Philadelphia 76ers. So on to the conference finals. The LA Lakers are eliminated. I did not see that coming. The defending back-to-back NBA champions are eliminated in round 2. The Bulls and the Mavericks and the Pistons, the 1-seeded Detroit Pistons, are eliminated. This might be Atlanta's year, actually. Wow, okay. Now, Portland did make it to the finals, and they won, right? 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, Clyde, and let's see. They lost. They lost to Boston. Was that right? Yeah, they got to the finals, but they lost to Boston. I think that's what happened. So they're trying to get back. Boston has a 5 seed trying to get back to the finals. Portland and Atlanta winning game 1. Game 2, Utah ties up the series at 1. Atlanta takes a 2-0 series lead. Utah takes a 2-1 series lead. Boston gets a game. Game 4, Boston and Utah win that one. Portland making it a 3-2 series, with Utah obviously leading that one. Atlanta takes a 3-2 series lead. Boston and Portland have both won game 6 to force a game 7. So game 7s in both conference finals. The Boston Celtics have been eliminated. The Atlanta Hawks, the young Atlanta Hawks, on to the NBA Finals. And the Utah Jazz beat the Portland Trail Blazers, and they're on to the NBA Finals. Steve Blake, Jim Paxson, Terry Cummings, Thurl Bailey, Jeff Ruland. All right, Paul Millsap, a young player there, making it to the NBA Finals. We'll look at the starting 5s here. I mean, Doc Rivers, Brandon Roy, Dominique, Melo, and Trey Rollins. But overall-wise, I think Utah might be slightly better. This will be a really interesting finals. I mean, can a really young Atlanta team break through early? We'll see what happens. On to game 1, Utah does have home court advantage, and they lead it by 11 after 1. At the half, they lead it by 12. And Atlanta trying to come back here. They've taken the lead, a huge fourth quarter by the Atlanta Hawks. And we're tied. A minute to go at 105. Atlanta takes a 2-point lead. And now we're once again tied. Utah just tied at 107. Let's jump in. Carmelo Anthony has 30 points in this game, as we are tied up at 107. He's at the free throw line, and he misses. That's a big missed free throw there. His second is good. So Melo goes 1 for 2 from the line. And now Utah will have it with 21 seconds to go. Will we get a game winner here in game 1 of the NBA Finals? Utah will pass it into Steve Blake. Blake guarded by Brandon Roy. Get it down in the post to Cummings. Cummings gets double teamed. Gets it all the way over to Bailey. 7 on the clock. Bailey swings it to Barea. Over to Cummings. Back to Barea. Barea, fadeaway three. No good at the buzzer. And the Atlanta Hawks will come into Utah and win Game 1 over the Utah Jazz. Terry Cummings had 40 in the loss. 31 and 8 from Melo. Dominique with 21 and 8. Rivers with 14. Brandon Roy with 9, 4 and 6. 3 blocks for Brandon Roy. And Atlanta takes a 1-0 lead. Game 2 is underway. Utah once again at home trying to tie up the series. They don't want to go down 0-2 headed to Atlanta. And they are dominating this game. And they're going to blow out Atlanta. Not even close. 130-92. Terry Cummings with 29 and 9. Bailey with 19 and 8. Pekovic with 18 and 5. Dominique had 37 and 11 in the loss. Melo, who had a great game 1, had just 4 points in game number 2. So on to game number 3 in Atlanta, where Atlanta takes a 7-point lead after 1. Utah takes control, though, at the half. And now with a 10-point lead with 5:42 to go, Utah trying to go up 2-1 and reclaim a home court advantage, and they will. 117-101. Terry Cummings with 36 and 16. Rulon with 26 and 14. Dominique with 26. Spates with 20. Brandon Roy with 18 and 7 and 7. Melo with 15. But it was not enough. On to game number 4. Atlanta with an early lead by 4. At the half, they will take a 10-point lead. And trying to pull away here, but a big fourth quarter here for Utah. So now under 4 minutes to go, it's a 3-point game. 2:41, it's a 1-point game. Utah has taken the lead. Wow, what a collapse by Atlanta here at the end of that one. And the Utah Jazz will win game 4, and they will take a 3-1 series lead. Terry Cummings with 29 and 7. Dominique with 25 and 9. Melo with 22. Roy with 14. But the Hawks have now lost 3 straight and find themselves down 3-1 going back to Utah for game number 5. Game 1, or first quarter, Atlanta with a 7-point lead after 1. Utah has taken the lead back, though, a 4-point lead in the third quarter. Now back and forth we go in the fourth quarter. Down to 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Utah with a 3-point lead. A minute and 23. It's a 1-point lead for Utah. Let's jump in. Atlanta with possession here. Down by 1. And they will get it into Rivers, who takes a horrible shot. It's good! Doc Rivers, a tough shot. He hits that one. And Atlanta has a 1-point lead. Atlanta trying to hold on for dear life. Utah trying to win what would be their first NBA title. And that shot is good by Terry Cummings. And he gives Utah a 1-point lead. Doc Rivers will bring it up. A minute to go over to Wilkins. Dominique. Back to Rivers. Rivers has it ISO'd against Steve Blake. Rivers driving right. Kicks it back out to Wilkins. Wilkins drives right. Kicks it back out to Rivers. 3 on the clock. Rivers. Step back 3. No good. Not a good offensive possession there by Atlanta. Steve Blake will have it on the right wing. 35 seconds to go. Utah up by 1. Blake into the post to Cummings. Terry in the high post. Will back it up. 4 on the clock. 3. Terry Cummings is going to have to take a tough shot, and it is good. So Utah will take a 3-point lead with 20 seconds to go. 20 seconds away from their first NBA championship. Big shot there. Atlanta will pass it in. Who do you go to if you're Atlanta down by 3? Ball into Brandon Roy. Roy driving. Kicks it to Spates. Spates will back it up. Got to go. 13 seconds to go. Wilkins puts it up and no good. And that will probably do it. A missed layup by Dominique. And Bailey to the free throw line. Hits the first. And the second is no good. Atlanta still with some life here. They do have 3 timeouts remaining. All right. I mean, Atlanta needs to get a quick bucket here. They don't necessarily have to hit a three. We've seen some missed free throws in these games. Brown will pass it in. By the way, I don't see Melo. Brandon Roy will take a three, and that will be no good. Steve Blake has it, and with 4 seconds to go, the Utah Jazz, who lost game 1 at home, will end up winning 4 straight games here in the NBA Finals and will win their first NBA championship. Brandon Roy has it. Dribble. I don't know what's happening. He's just going to run out the clock. All right. Well, that will do it. The Utah Jazz are NBA champions for the first time in franchise history. Terry Cummings was outstanding in this series. Steve Blake getting a championship ring. Rulin was good as well. Thurl Bailey. They all get their first NBA championship as Utah will hoist up the Larry O'Brien Trophy. And the Finals MVP, no surprise here, will be Terry Cummings that will win the Bill Russell Finals MVP. So there we go. Utah NBA champions. Terry Cummings averaged nearly 32 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, shot 58% from the field, and he is your Finals MVP. So we will head on to the offseason. Some retirements here. Dan Issel, Bill Walton, both retire. No jersey retirements and no Hall of Famers. Wow, okay. Bill Walton did not make the Hall of Fame. Interesting. The top 3 picks are now done via weighted draw. So the top 3 teams will now have the best odds at the number 1 pick. Logo change for the Bullets. Uniform change for the Bulls. Same with Cleveland and same with the New York Knicks. And obviously the one rule change. And we will head to the draft lottery. The 1987 NBA draft lottery. And the Sacramento Kings will get the number 1 overall pick. Cleveland at 2, Phoenix at 3, Houston at 4, and the New Jersey Nets at 5. Headed to what is the 1990 draft class here in the 1987 NBA draft. And the Sacramento Kings will select Mohamed Abdul-Rauf. Good pick there for them. And with the 2nd overall pick, well, Gary Payton would have been the better pick, I think, slightly, as he will head to Cleveland. The 3rd overall pick, Phoenix, takes Derek Coleman at 4. Tyrone Hill goes to the Houston Rockets. Lionel Simmons heads to New Jersey. The New York Knicks select Kendall Gill. Cedric Ceballos heads to the LA Clippers. Dennis Scott heads to Indiana. The San Antonio Spurs will select Terry Mills. And Tony Kukoc heads to Chicago. Hey, there we go. There's history repeats itself there. And as for the rest of the NBA draft, let's see any other big ones here. Antonio Davis to Boston. And yeah, that's about it. Here in free agency, and James Worthy leaves the LA Lakers and he heads to New York. Wow, okay, so there's a big change there. They did not even get to the Western Conference Finals a year ago, so James Worthy heads off to New York, wants to maybe be the guy. Atlanta will re-sign Dominique. Alex English re-signs in Denver. George Gervin returns to San Antonio. Bill Laimbeer headed back to Detroit. Gus Williams to Seattle. Marquise Johnson returns to Milwaukee. Fat Lever returns to Portland. The Lakers re-sign Byron Scott. And they also re-sign Michael Cooper. World B. Free returns to Cleveland, right? Or was he... Where was he originally? Yeah, he was in Cleveland. Trey Rollins will actually leave Atlanta and heads to the Bullets. Bailey returns to Utah. So, an interesting free agency. We'll see how that changes things. Maybe the Knicks will be a pretty good team with James Worthy. As for the next draft class here, we'll go ahead and spin the wheel. And here for instead of the 1988 NBA draft, it will be the 1992 NBA draft. Okay. So the 1992 draft is very good. Shaquille O'Neal coming into the league, Alonzo Mourning, Latrell Sprewell. You got Christian Laettner, Robert Horry, John Barry. Yeah, this is a solid draft class, and we'll see how Shaq does entering the league a little bit earlier. I mean, I guess, 4 years earlier is when he'll enter the league, so we'll see what happens. Magic Johnson wins another MVP, 25, 9, and 10. Lionel Simmons wins Rookie of the Year, 13, 4, and 4. Byron Scott wins Sixth Man of the Year. Trey Rollins, DPOY. Roy Hibbert is the most improved, 11, 10, and 2. They might have made that switch. I wonder if he's starting for them now. And Thurmond, the head coach in New York, is the Coach of the Year. So James Worthy might be playing really well over there in New York. All NBA first team got Magic, Clyde, LeBron in year 2, averaging 24, 7, and 6. Got Larry Bird and Andre Bargnani. Second team is Russ, Derrick Rose, Chris Bosh, James Worthy, and Ralph Sampson. James Worthy, first year in New York, 22 and 9 per game. Third team, Isaiah Thomas, Dwayne Wade, Melo, Cliff Robinson, and Moses Malone. All defensive first team, Clyde, Wade, Bosh, LeBron, and Trey Rollins. Got Magic, Moncrief, Mikal, Tyrese Thomas, and Roy Hibbert on the all-defensive second team. All-rookie first team, there's Gary Payton averaging 8 and 5 a game. Abdul Rauf averaging 13 and 5 a game as well. And on to the standings here. The Portland Trailblazers have the best record in the West. The Lakers were just the 4 seed, winning 47 games. San Antonio missed the playoffs. And then Utah, the number 2 seed, the defending champions. The New York Knicks, the 1 seed in the East. Atlanta at number 2. But they won their division, I'm guessing. That's why Philly with more wins is below them. That's kind of weird. Not really sure what's going on there. But those are the standings. And then for league leaders here, Bird led the league in points per game. Kevin Love led the league in rebounds per game. Assists per game was led by Magic. Maurice Cheeks led the league with steals. And then Trey Rollins led the league with 2.9 blocks per game. So, on to the NBA playoffs. The Houston Rockets, New Jersey Nets, the number 1 seeded Portland Trailblazers gets upset by the Denver Nuggets. The Chicago Bulls are gone. Boston is gone. Seattle is gone. Detroit is gone. And Dallas is eliminated. So, the Lakers, as a 4 seed, will play against the Denver Nuggets. The Utah Jazz, the defending champions, will play the Golden State Warriors. And in the East, we've got New York versus Washington. So Rondo, Presti, Bernard King, James Worthy, and Cartwright. They play Derrick Rose, Jeff Malone, Adrian Dantley, Nick Collison, and Trey Rollins. Kyle Lowry coming off the bench there. Got Atlanta versus Philly. Who's on Golden State right now? Sleepy Floyd, Purvis Short, Joe Barry Carroll. Okay. On to the conference finals. The Jazz beat the Warriors easily in 5. Washington is eliminated. The Atlanta Hawks, who made it to the NBA Finals a year ago, they are eliminated. And the LA Lakers are headed to the Western Conference Finals. So we've got Utah versus LA and New York versus Philly. Game number 1 goes to Utah and New York. Game 2 also goes to New York and Utah. Game 3 will be won by LA and Philly. Game 4 will be won both by LA and Philly. We have both series tied at 2. LA takes a 3-2 series lead. Same with Philly. Both teams have won 3 straight games. Game number 6, the defending champions, the Utah Jazz, have been eliminated. And the LA Lakers headed back to the NBA Finals for a 3rd time in 4 years. No James Worthy, no problem could be seeing James Worthy in the NBA Finals, as that series is headed to a Game 7, and we will get it. It will be James Worthy and the New York Knicks playing his former team, the LA Lakers, who are trying to win 3 NBA titles in 4 years. Those are the starting 5. Roy Hibbert now starting at the 5. Kareem actually at the 4. Wilkes at the 3. And Michael Cooper at the 2. And then for the Knicks, you got Rondo, Gill, Bernard King, James Worthy, and Bill Cartwright. This will be actually a really good NBA Finals. On to game number 1. New York with an early lead it by 3. They have home court advantage, by the way, entering the 4th quarter. And the Lakers have taken a 1-point lead. Down to a minute and 15. We have a tied game at 106. And down to 26 seconds to go. We still have a tied game at 106. Let's jump in. 26 seconds to go. The LA Lakers do have the ball. Byron Scott will have it. They're going to waste some time here. And get this clock all the way down. About a 2-second difference between game clock and shot clock. Now 8 on the shot clock. Scott will get a screen by Kareem over to Magic. Magic in the post. Kick it back out to Scott for 3. No good. Kareem puts it back in. Was that a game winner or did they just call timeout? There's point-something seconds to go on the clock. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar just nearly had a buzzer-beating putback. So the Lakers lead it by 2 here. And, I mean, there's no time on the clock here. We'll see. I mean, Rondo, not enough time. That will do it. The LA Lakers come into New York and win Game 1. They will take a 1-0 series lead. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the game winner. On to Game 2. New York, once again at home. The Lakers with an early lead here. Back and forth we go. Now a big third quarter for the Lakers. It's a 24-point lead, and yeah, that will do it. The LA Lakers have taken a 2-0 series lead over the New York Knicks. Byron Scott with 24, Magic with 17, 6, and 11, Kareem with 17 and 9, and the Lakers have taken a 2-0 series lead headed back to LA. So the Knicks with the 4-point lead after 1, but the Lakers a 17-point advantage in the second quarter, and I mean, it's relatively close. It's a 6-point game. Let's see if the Knicks can make it any. Nope, that will do it. The Lakers win it 117 to 110. 29, 13, and 9 from Magic. 22 for Wilkes. Kareem had 22 and 8. Byron Scott had 20. And the LA Lakers have taken a 3-0 series lead. No James Worthy, no problem through 3 games. The Lakers with the 1-point lead after 1. And now after the half, they still lead it by 1. 11-point advantage in the third, though. But the Knicks have made it close here in the fourth. The Knicks trying to avoid being swept here. A 1-point game with 29 seconds to go. Let's jump in. The Lakers with a 1-point lead with 29 seconds to go. And they have possession. And they will go ahead. The Knicks will go ahead and foul here. So Magic to the free throw line. He has 25 and 8 rebounds in this game. Now 26 points. And free throw number 2 is good and will give the LA Lakers a 3-point lead. Still plenty of time here. I mean, if the Lakers, or if the Knicks, I mean, can get a stop, or can get a score and a stop, well, I guess they would have to foul, right? Yeah, they would have to foul. So, I need a quick score and then foul. I mean, you don't have to go for a 3. Boris Diaw will pass it in. Over to Bernard King. 24 on the clock. Bernard over to Rondo, who will put up a little floater. I don't know what that was. And New York will foul. Okay. So 21 seconds to go. The Lakers at the free throw line here. Magic's first will be good. That gives him 28 points on the night. And the second is no good. And that's why I said you don't have to go for a 3. 17 seconds to go. The Knicks only down by 2 here. 12 seconds. King drives right on Magic. Puts it up. No good. He got his rebound, though. Out to Pressey. To Rondo. Over to Bernard King. Bernard puts it up. Good! At the buzzer! And the Knicks will force overtime here in game number 4. What a shot from Bernard King. And we will get overtime here at the Forum. So jumping into the Simcast here. Down to a minute to go. The Knicks with a 1-point lead. Back and forth. Knicks again with the 1-point lead. Now they have a 3-point lead. And with 23 seconds to go, the Knicks have made it a 1-point game. All right, let's jump in at this point. The Lakers down by 1. They're going to have to foul here with 16 seconds to go. Ball into Rajon Rondo, and Magic will foul. Rondo with 20 points, 4 rebounds. First free throw is no good. So the second free throw for Rondo, also no good. And the Lakers will call timeout. Oh my. Rondo struggling from the free throw line there. And this gives the Lakers plenty of time to score and to win it. Cooper will pass it into Magic. 12 on the clock. Down to 10. Guarded by Rondo. 7 on clock. Magic drives by. No good. Oh, that was an easy bucket for Magic, and he missed it. So the Knicks to the free throw line once again. Rondo will make that one. A 2-point lead. And the second is good. So 3 seconds to go here for the Lakers. Down by 3. Can they force a double overtime, or will the Knicks avoid the sweep and win a game here in the finals? The Lakers will pass it in. They need a 3. 3 seconds to go. Ball in to Scott. Open 3. No good. And the Knicks will win game number 4 in LA. We are headed back to New York for game number 5, where the Knicks are trying to force a game 6. So on to game 5 in New York. The Lakers with an early lead it by 1. At the half, they lead it by 5. After 3, they lead it by just 3. The Knicks have taken a lead, though. 1.5 minutes to go. 20 seconds to go. That will do it. The New York Knicks have won 2 straight games after being down 3-0 and have forced a game 6 back to LA. James Worthy with 25 and 13 in the win. King with 23. Magic with 21, 4, and 9. And we are headed to game number 6 back at the Forum. The Knicks with an early lead it by 9. The Lakers coming back, though, a big third quarter. They lead it by 8. Now into the fourth quarter. Lead it by 10. 2 minutes goes a 7-point game. And yeah, that will do it. The LA Lakers will be NBA champions once again. They win at 117-107. 38, 11, and 12 for Magic Johnson in the closeout game. And the LA Lakers have won 3 NBA titles in 4 years. Magic Johnson, I believe this might be his 5th Finals MVP. Is that right? Yes, it is. He has won, let's see. He's won 3 in 4 years, and obviously one in 1980 and 1982. He's won 5 straight MVPs, and he has 5 finals MVPs. Magic Johnson putting together an unbelievable career. Wow. All right. Headed to the next offseason here. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar retires at the age of 41. So, by the way, he will not finish with more points in his career than he did in real life. He finishes with 36,659. Bob McAdoo also retires. Mike Dunleavy retires. But real quick, I do want to check the records here and see. So let's go to, how do I go to career here? Here we go. So total points. Can I go to, okay, here we go. Career. All right. So Kareem obviously at number 1. Wilt at number 2. And I don't really think anyone else is going to really have a shot other than, I mean, the young guys, right? So, yeah, Kareem's still number 1, but he didn't hit 38,000. He only finished with 36,000. So, played what, 2 less years, or was it 1 less year? I don't know actually how many years Kareem ended up playing, but I think he played more than 20 years, I'm pretty sure. But he finishes with 36,000. Hall of Famers, obviously, Kareem will be on here, averaging 24 and 12 for his career. A 16-time All-Star, 6-time MVP, and a 6-time NBA champion. He also gets his jersey retired with the Bucks and the Lakers. And then now the Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets have entered the league. So we'll have an expansion draft. Officials are now up to 3, and the logo change for the Golden State Warriors. So we'll go ahead and approve those 2 teams. League realignment, I think that should be all good. Miami was in the West initially. And we will head to the draft lottery for... Now, this is basically for Shaquille O'Neal, right? The teams with the best odds. I thought they changed teams with the top 3 odds. I guess not. Or maybe that's glitched out. Not really sure. But the Phoenix Suns win the lottery. They will have the number 1 overall pick. The Bucks at 2 and the Sacramento Kings at 3. On to the expansion draft. And with the first overall pick, LaSalle Thompson is picked by the Hornets. Simmons gets picked by the Heat. Any other... Well, it'll be interesting to see any young players get picked, which we do get one there. Kirk Heinrich is headed to the Hornets. But other than that, not really seeing any other big picks here. So, will be interesting to see how it turns out for the Charlotte Hornets and the Miami Heat. Let's head on to the 1988 NBA draft, which has the 1992 NBA draft class. And the Phoenix Suns will select Shaquille O'Neal, a very young Shaquille O'Neal. With the second overall pick, Alonzo Mourning heads to the Milwaukee Bucks. At number 3, Latrell Sprewell to the Sacramento Kings. Jim Jackson to the Hornets. Doug Christie to the Heat. Christian Laettner to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Walt Williams to the Indiana Pacers. Tom Gugliotta, something like that, he heads to the LA Clippers. David Wesley to the San Antonio Spurs. LaFonso Ellis to the Detroit Pistons. And as for the rest of the draft here, John Barry to Dallas. And yeah, that's about it. On to free agency here. Moses Malone returns to Philly. Isaiah leaves Detroit and joins Utah, who just won a championship just 2 years ago. So, you know, Utah trying to make another run at it. Isaiah's over it in Detroit, so he is out of there. Derrick Rose stays in Washington. Mark Aguirre stays in Dallas. Moncrief stays in Milwaukee. Kiki Vandeweghe heads to Cleveland, leaving Denver. Kevin McHale stays in Boston. Ralph Sampson leaves Houston and heads to New York. That New York team now with Ralph Sampson, that's pretty good. And obviously getting James Worthy last year. Russ stays in Houston. Bernard King, though, he leaves New York and he will head to Detroit. Okay. Sigma to Seattle. Kevin Love stays in LA with the Clippers. DeAndre Jordan stays in Philly. And we will spin to see what draft class replaces the 1989 NBA draft. Who will it be? It will be the 2001 NBA draft. A lot of early 2000 draft classes. So we will have the 2001 draft. We'll go ahead and take this will out and put that in. The 2001 draft class has Pau Gasol, Gilbert Arenas, Joe Johnson, Shane Battier, Kwame Brown. Oh, this is a fun class. And I'm really curious, man, because Gilbert Arenas usually does amazing in these resims. And now he's playing in the 90s. Ooh, I don't know. Pau Gasol might actually be really good in the 90s as well. But I'm excited to see Gilbert Arenas in the 90s. That will be really interesting. Magic Johnson wins his 6th straight regular season MVP. It's a little broken, but that's all right. 33 points per game, 9.5 rebounds, 9.7 assists. I mean, Kareem retired, right? James Worthy's not there anymore. So he's really taken over. Shaq wins Rookie of the Year with the Phoenix Suns. 18 points per game, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks per game. Chris Kaman, 6th Man of the Year. LeBron James, Defensive Player of the Year. 27, 9, and 6. 2.3 blocks and 1.7 steals. Simmons wins Most Improved. 17, 5, and 4 with the new Miami Heat. The LA Lakers had the best record in the league with 58 wins. All-NBA First Team, Magic, Russell Westbrook in Houston, 25, 5, and 8. LeBron, Larry Bird, and Chris Kaman. Second team, Dwayne Wade, Alex English, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, and Andre Bargnani. Third team, Derrick Rose, Isaiah Thomas, James Worthy, Kevin Love, and Jeff Ruland. All defense first team got Dwayne Wade, Rondo, LeBron, Bosh, and Trey Rollins. Second team got Magic, Clyde, Thomas, Melo, and Chris Kaman. And then the all-rookie team got Alonzo Mourning averaging 14 and 10. Leitner averaging 13 and 8. Sprewell averaging 11 and 4. LaFonso Ellis averaging 10 and 6. And on to the standings here. New York with the best record in the East with 58 wins. And then in the West, the Clippers. That coach of the year was way wrong because the Lakers only have 53 wins. So not sure what's going on there. But the Clippers with 57 wins. All right. Interesting. Utah with 55 wins. The Spurs are the 7 seed with the young LeBron James and an old George Gervin, Johnny Moore. Yeah, I mean, this team's kind of meh. I don't know. It's all right. But the problem, is like LeBron's so good that he gets a bad team to the playoffs, so then they can't stack up on picks, So that's the tough part. Denver does make the playoffs as well. And then we will head to the league leaders here. Magic led the league in scoring. Melo was second, or LeBron was second. Melo was third. Rebounds per game, Kevin Love led the league. Assists per game, Calderon led the league in assists. Rondo led the league in steals. And Rollins led the league in blocks per game. On to round number 2, the Washington Bullets, the 76ers, the Denver Nuggets, the Chicago Bulls, Phoenix Suns with the rookie Shaq, Golden State Warriors, and the Detroit Pistons and the Utah Jazz are all eliminated. So on to round number 2, the Utah Jazz was eliminated by the San Antonio Spurs. So Isaiah Thomas, headed to Utah, thought maybe they could get back to the finals, but they lose in round 1. And by the hands of LeBron James, who's a 93 overall. We've got the Clippers versus Dallas, LA versus LeBron and the Spurs, New York versus Atlanta, and Indiana versus Boston. On to the conference finals. The Atlanta Hawks, the Boston Celtics, the LA Clippers, who were the 1 seed, and LeBron and the San Antonio Spurs are eliminated. So we've got the 3-seeded LA Lakers versus the 5-seeded Dallas Mavericks. And we've got the number 1 seed New York Knicks versus the number 2 seed Indiana Pacers, led by Chris Bosh, JJ Redick, Clark Kellogg, Herb Williams. Bosh averaged 22 and 11 in the regular season, 18 and 11 in the playoffs. How's JJ Redick doing? 19 in the playoffs. Okay. We'll see what happens. We could get a rematch between the LA Lakers and the New York Knicks, but neither team wins game 1. Indiana and Dallas will win game 1. New York wins game 2. Dallas takes a 2-0 series lead. Dallas takes a 3-0 series lead. Indiana takes a 2-1 series lead. The LA Lakers and Magic gets swept. So they will not be going back-to-back. And the Knicks and the Pacers are tied at 2. Indiana takes a 3-2 series lead. New York ties it up and forces a game 7. And the New York Knicks on to the NBA Finals for a second straight year, led by Rondo, Gill, Pressey, Worthy, and Ralph Sampson. And for the Dallas Mavericks, it's Derek Harper, Orlando Blackman, Mark Aguirre, Tyrese Thomas, and Brooke Lopez. Dallas trying to win their first ever NBA championship. On to game 1 in New York, who had the best record in the league. They're up by 9 after 1. Dallas coming back, though. A big third quarter here for the Knicks. Well, it was until it wasn't. Now into the fourth quarter, a pretty low-scoring game here, but the New York Knicks will win it. 105-93. James Worthy with 28 and 14. Aguirre with 24, 6 and 5. On to game number 2. And the Knicks up by 16 after 1. Up by just 11 at the half. And the Knicks taking care of business here. They will go up 2-0. Let's look at the box score here. As Ralph Sampson with 27 and 8. James Worthy with 26, 15 and 5. And not much there for Dallas. Game number 3 in Dallas. Trying to avoid going down 0-3 or 3-0. And into the fourth quarter, a minute 22, the Knicks with the 12-point lead, and that will do it. The Knicks take a 3-0 series lead. Ralph Sampson, 29 and 15. Worthy with 16, 17 and 6. Boris Diaw with 15. Rondo with 12 and 10. And the Knicks have a 3-0 series lead going into game 4 in Dallas. Can the Knicks sweep the Dallas Mavericks here in the 1989 NBA Finals? Looks like they will not. The Dallas Mavericks win a game here, 107-96. Worthy with 28 and 8. Randy Foye. Wow, okay, 30 points. Brook Lopez with 20 and 8. And we will head on to game 5 in New York. And the Knicks down by 2 after 1. Down by 4 at the half. And in the third, they come back, take the lead. Now tied up at 96 with 6.5 minutes to go. 2 minutes go. It's a close game here. Back and forth we go. 48 seconds to go. It's a 2-point game with 30 seconds to go. Let's jump in. Sampson at the free throw line. And he hits the first. That will give New York a 3-point lead with 30 seconds to go. And the second is up and good. So a 4-point lead here for the New York Knicks in New York. And we'll see if Dallas can get a... score here, right? Foul. See if they can miss a free throw. And then, again, try a quick score. Or you can just go for a 3 right away. Try and get it to a 1-point game. Ball into Aguirre, out to Blackman, to Brook Lopez. Over to Harper. Harper, get in the post to Lopez. Lopez gets double, doesn't matter. No, it does! Ralph Sampson with the block. And with 17 seconds to go, New York will be at the free throw line. I think this is an auto-generated player. Well, he hits both free throws. It's a 6-point game, and that will just about do it. 15 seconds to go. Over to Harper, who takes a 3. That's no good. Sampson with the rebound, and that will do it. The New York Knicks will win Game 5 here in New York. The New York Knicks will win the 1988-89 NBA Finals, and they are the champions after losing last year to the LA Lakers in 5. They finally get their win here in 1989. He's in Utah. James Worthy headed over from the LA Lakers last year, remember. Got him to the finals, couldn't beat his former team. But he gets it done this year. Rondo on this team. Obviously, James Worthy on this team. We'll see who wins finals MVP as they hoist up the Larry O'Brien trophy. I'm assuming it's going to be James Worthy. I think he played the best. And it will be. James Worthy wins his first finals MVP of his career. And I believe his 5th NBA championship, I think. 4 with LA and then 1 now with New York. So that would do it. The Knicks are the NBA champions. James Worthy, finals MVP, 23, 13, and 3 in the finals. And let's check on his award history here. So, no, he wasn't with LA in the first 2 championships. I didn't know that. I thought he was. I guess not. So, 3-time champion, 1-time finals MVP, 4-time All-Star at the age of 28. So, James Worthy is your finals MVP. So there we go. That's the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That like button if you did. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. And yeah, let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think about this series? About the draft classes in this era? And what are you guys most excited about? What draft class hasn't been picked that you guys are most excited about? And when do you want that draft class to be picked, right? So like if you guys are excited about the 84 draft class, when do you want that to be, selected? Like what generation, right? Or what decade would be the most fun? Same with like the Wemby. Like I kind of want the Wemby draft to be in like the 90s or early 2000s. Like that would be awesome. So let me know in the comments below what you guys want to see. Hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. And I will see you guys in the year 1989.